Tanyalee Davis.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Soak it in. That's right. I'm 3'3" tall, everybody. That's right. I hang out around a lot of assholes. Whether I like it or not. That's right. I got a body of a chihuahua, a pit bull personality, but I got an ass like a corgi. Woof. Doggy style. So I have a form of dwarfism, you guys. It's called diastrophic dysplasia. If we have any fans of Little People Big World, I have the same type of dwarfism as Matt Roloff. It's a recessive gene. What that means is two tall people created this. That's right. I was born in 1970. I was born in Thompson, Manitoba, Canada. There you go. The Canucks were like Mexicans with sweaters. So I was born in northern Canada to two tall people. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was a bush pilot. It was 1970, so my mother had a huge bush. I did find out I was a product of a threesome. Oh, I know. It was my mom, my dad, and Captain Morgan. I was born in 1970, so there's no prenatal scans back then. My parents had no idea that they were carrying a rare form of dwarfism. And they had a 1 in 4 chance of having a dwarf baby, right? I was baby number 1, so they got a Yahtzee right off the bat. I feel very fortunate growing up in the 70s and 80s, right? It was a different time. Parenting was a lot different back then, right? Yeah, it wasn't about coddling your children, right? You get kicked outside, don't come back till the street lights are on, right? We had to use our imaginations, laying in the grass, looking up at the clouds. We'd lick lampposts to build up our immune systems. Yeah. Now kids are bubble wrapped and sanitized and they're offended by everything, right? I never got sidelined growing up. My parents had no idea what I was capable of, but they just said, get out there and try. That was the thing, right? I played every sport growing up. I did. I played baseball. My strike zone's only that big. Never got struck out. Always made it to first. Never made it to second. I ran track. I did. I ran track. The kids would run 10 times around the track. I'd run once. They'd put a shoelace up. I was like, I played hockey because I'm Canadian and that's the law. And thing is each type of dwarfism, you guys don't realize this, there's over 400 different types of dwarfism. And they all have their own genetic makeup, plus their own physical characteristics that are attributed to that type of dwarfism. I like to use the Roloff family as an example, right? Most people are familiar with them. Amy Roloff, the mom, has achondroplasia, the most common type of dwarfism. It's a dominant gene. She had children with Matt Roloff, who has my type, diastrophic dwarfism, a recessive gene. They had 4 children, one of which had dwarfism, and he had the same type as Amy because that was the dominant gene, right? The thing is, we also have the same physical characteristics, right? Acons, they're tall. On the dwarfism height spectrum, oh yeah, they think they're the shit. Nearly 5 feet, those fuckers, yeah. Yeah, they tend to have big heads, narrow bridge of the nose, they tend to be bow-legged. My people, diastrophics, were actually on the opposite end of the height spectrum. We're very much on the shorter side. We're also known as the cherub dwarf. I know, the cherub dwarf. I know, I'm a fucking angel. Thing is, with diastrophics, we are short. One of the main physical characteristics are our hands. You might notice I cannot make a fist. I cannot make a fist. My fingers do not bend. This is called a starfish hand, everybody, with a hitchhiker's thumb. Yeah, not gonna be catching a lot of semis with this baby. Maybe a Mini Cooper. But I am on the shorter side, definitely. So people say, do you wear kids' clothes? Well, you've seen the size of this ass. That's not happening, right? Thing is, it's very deceptive. My proportions are off, right? From ass to shoulders, I am the same height as most average people in here. It's only my arms and my legs that are short, right? So I go back to playing hockey. I basically, if you look at my body, I'm like the same shape as a dachshund, a wiener dog, right? Long body, trunk, short arms, short legs. So if trying to get up off the ground is difficult, then you put roller skates, or ice skates in this case, right? Adds an extra couple of inches, right? But I wasn't going to give up. Hell no, I was a go-getter. I wanted to play hockey. Girls ringette hockey team, right? We actually had somebody that volunteered their time to come scoop the dwarf up off the ice anytime I wiped out. Oh, I had to be out there giving it hell, giving it hell, giving it hell. Wipe out. Couple seconds later, I'd hear a swoosh. Somebody grab me by the armpits, pick me up, give me a shove. I'm back in it, baby. Giving it hell, giving it hell. Make it about 2 feet. I'm down again. The hockey game's still going on. They don't give a shit about what I'm doing. I think I'm part of the team. It's a win-win situation. Just have to think outside the box. I think this is what the younger generation doesn't get. I spend a lot of time on social media, so I get people going, Tanyalee, what are your problems? What can't you do? What are your challenges? Like, why do we want to talk about that shit? First of all, my birthday's coming up. I'll be 53 years old. I've been doing stand-up comedy for nearly 34 years. I have a university degree in sociology. While I was at university, I volunteered in a men's prison, counseling murderers for 3 years. I know, a little late for counseling. Stop killing people! I'm a daughter of an airline pilot, so I've traveled since I was a baby. I started comedy when I was 19. It's taken me all over the world. I performed in bowling alleys and libraries. I performed on tropical islands, in castles, on mountaintops. I've been horseback riding, parasailing, scuba diving in 3 different countries. I've done 2 TED Talks. I've got my name and my photo on the world-famous Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard with some of the greatest comedians. And I'm the Guinness Book World Record holder for the shortest comedian in the world. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I got a tattoo on my arm that says unstoppable me. That's my mantra. Ever since I started going online the last 3 years, people want to talk about my challenges. I'm like, nuh-uh, I'm an unstoppable me. I don't let my size define who I am. And that's my act has changed considerably in the last couple of years, because I feel like just because I've been living my life, I'm inspiring and motivating people. Yeah, that's, why not? It's a good way to get up, and good reason to get up. And I think I love traveling, but sometimes the whole thing is, I don't have to write material. I just live material. If you follow me, I was flying from Huntsville, Alabama, down here to Florida, and I traveled with a mobility scooter. It's a 3-wheeler. I designed a metal rack that fits in the back of my scooter. I can hang my bags on it. Allows me to be independent. I happen to be traveling with a friend of mine, and I drive my scooter to the door of the airplane. I get off. I talk to the ground staff. They put it underneath in the hold. So I got my cane in one hand. I got my little gray step stool in my other hand. My friend Patty's got the bags. We're walking on board the plane, said hi to the flight attendant, walked on. We're sitting in the bulkhead, front row of economy. A lot more room. I put my step stool down. I get up. I sit in the seat, kick my step stool underneath the seat in front of me, and Patty and I are sitting there chatting. All of a sudden, the flight attendant comes out of nowhere. She goes, "Excuse me, ma'am, is your seat FAA approved?" And immediately I thought, oh, seat of the scooter, obviously, right? She just saw me get off the scooter. I said, don't worry, the scooter's been all over the world. It's completely airplane safe. And she looked at me and she went, no, the seat you're sitting on, is it FAA approved? And I'm like, I'm on an airplane seat. I hope it's FAA approved. Didn't you go to some sort of training for this shit? What's going on? And then she looks at me like I'm the asshole. And she doubles down, she goes, the seat you're sitting on. And that's when I leaned over and I went, my ass? Did you just ask me if my ass was FAA approved? Because picture, if you will, right, a dwarf and a tall chick walking onto an airplane. Sizable height difference, right? Then we sit down and we're eye to eye. This woman was convinced I was sitting on a booster seat. So when I showed her it was just my fat ass, she was like, steam coming out of her ears, her eyes are twitching, can't compute. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm getting ass shamed. Then I realized, oh my God, it's happened again, right? Because this isn't my first rodeo. I've been in this body a long time. Usually that kind of thing happens at Chinese food restaurants. Yeah, I walk in there, see me like, oh, you need a boost to see. You need a boost to see. I'm like, I'm good, thank you. No, you're tiny. You're tiny. You need a boost to see. And then I sit down. They're like, how'd you do that? So this was the same situation, right? Just different location. Right? So at first, I was like, yeah, Patty, grab the camera. It's a great video. You got to look for it, you guys. But the audio's terrible. We're right on the airplane. We're on the runway, just about to take off. The engines are booming. And I'm like, gotta get the video out there, right? Put it out there. Oh, my gosh, you guys. You got to read the comments. It's hilarious, right? And for the most part, people got it. But I was amazed at how many people lost their shit. They were like, how dare she? She should be fired. She needs to be reprimanded. And I'm like, really? This is where we are as a society. I am a firm believer at nearly 53 years old that being offended is a choice, right? Yeah, it's a choice. We got a lot of people in the world right now complaining about their mental health. Oh, I've got poor mental health. And they're the same people that are always offended by everything. Guess what? If you're one of those people, you're the problem. It's great having a sense of humor, you guys. It's made my life so much easier. I am living proof. If you have a sense of humor, it makes life so much easier. And to prove this fact, 2 weeks after that incident, I now have a brand new tattoo on my left ass cheek that's a stamp that says FAA approved. Happy birthday, Brad. I love being my age. I love being in my 50s because I don't give a shit anymore. It's so liberating, isn't it? And growing up in this world of social media, our young people are just being lost, right? They're feeling victimized so much, and they're so worried about what strangers think of them, right? I don't give a shit anymore. It's so fantastic. And I make videos online because people always want to ask questions, right? And I use, like I said, my sense of humor to educate people, right? So many questions I get asked, I'll then formulate an idea for a video. One of the questions I've been asked clearly my entire life is, how do you wipe your ass? Long body trunk, right? T-Rex arms, huh? So I've actually designed a stick. It started off back in the 70s, a wooden stick that was in my mom's car that was used to pop open the door locks. I have now basically made this stick out of plastic, and I use it for many, many things. It's the Unstoppable Me stick. One of the things is when I go to the bathroom. So I made a video, me getting up on my stool, sitting up on the toilet. I grabbed a big wad of toilet paper, and I realized, telling this, that there's now 2 types of people in the world. There's the waters and the folders. I realize once again I am in the minority, right? Most of you people are folders, then you wipe, then you fold, then you wipe, right? You have that luxury, huh? Yeah. When I do it with the water, no, once it goes past the point of no return, it ain't coming back. Not with this system, right? So what I do is I grab a big old wad of toilet paper and I put it there in my bits. And I got my stick, and no point does the stick touch any of the bits or anything, right? It's just there to maneuver, just to maneuver. So I gingerly tuck it in there, right? And then, here's where the strategic part comes in. I start to scoot, and I can get to the edge of the bowl, right? The edge of the seat. And then you kind of just scoot back and forth, and you can kind of shimmy the paper once you get it past the taint. Then you go for it. Then you go. Then you, and then you can kind of turn it and then drop it in. I'm not saying to get it all in the one go. Sometimes you gotta go for seconds. Maybe I just wear a G-string and floss it out. Scoot across the carpet. It works for the dog. once again, I put out this video. I did such a great job editing, you guys. I was so proud of it. And 7.8 million views on this video. It's insane. You gotta you gotta read the comments, though. People are mortified. They're like, there is no way you could get your mud whistle clean that way, Tanyalee. Oh, your pootie baby stink. Woo, your coffee crumpet baby nasty. Oh, it's hilarious, you guys. So people were tagging different companies. You need a bidet, Tanyalee. You need a bidet. And I was like, that's what's wrong with society. Anybody under 30 is now growing up with the Bellagio fountains up their mud whistles. No wonder they're a bunch of pansies. Come on. So people tagged bidet companies. Bidet. So all of a sudden I get an instant message or a direct message from this company. It's Lux Bidets. And they're like, we would like to send you a bidet attachment. I was like, here's my P.O. box, have at it, right? So in the mail, oh, very expensive, no doubt. Very beautiful contraption, right? It's got all these buttons on it that I can't fucking reach because of my T-Rex arms. Solutions. I've been doing this for 45 plus years. This is my system. People are not convinced. I recently got some things called dude wipes in the mail. Probably from the same video. They're ass wipes, but they're bigger and they're thicker. Which is great, And I made a video and they gave me a 4-pack, 2 fragrance-free, and then 2-pack mint chill. Oh, you gotta try these. It makes your ass feel like it smoked a Newport. Oh, too much fun. It's a great job, though. It's taken me all over the world. If you're very blessed, I got to do a tour in Japan. That was exciting. I'm huge in Japan. I did a tour of U.S. military bases, Marine bases in Okinawa. And I was very ignorant back in the day. I didn't realize when you were on a U.S. military base, no matter where you were in the world, you were considered to be on U.S. soil, right? So you pay with American money. They had an Applebee's, a KFC, a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, well, this is cool, but I am in Japan. I'd like to see some Japanese shit, And they're like, well, you can't go off the base. Just take your passport. So once again, I got my scooter, right? So I put my sundress on, my hat, my shades, headed off the base, went and saw some sights, had some sushi. When I got back to the base, you got to check in. There's a passport control area, but there was a pedestrian area only, right? It was up some stairs and around the corner. I'm on my scooter, right? It's not accessible, so my only recourse was to line up behind the military vehicles. So there I was, 4 tanks deep on my scooter. The tank in front of me pulls forward. I pull up to security. He's got an M16. He's looking at me like, what the I'm like, I'm here to fight the war. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Dwarf Diva reporting for duty. Beep, beep. Oh, they were so shocked they didn't even check my passport. I could have been a terrorist. Could have been from the tiny Taliban. I was in Romania. Never thought I'd ever go there. And the cool thing is I have 2 friends from Canada that now live in Bucharest. So I got to visit them, and they have 2 full-grown Newfoundlander dogs. I know. I spent 4 days getting teabagged by 2 black bears. I hope that's slobber. I wish that wasn't true. have to write material, people. I live it. You want to hear about the time I took a shit in a cat box? So I have a sister. I have one sister, biological sister. Once again, my two tall parents had a 1 in 4 chance of having a dwarf baby. Baby number 2, they rolled the dice. My sister, tall. Yep, she got the height. I got the tits and the ass. I win. My sister's doing well for herself. She's a pharmacist. She bought herself a condo outside Vancouver, Canada. It's one of those places you drive in, you go in the front door, there's 16 stairs. Then you're in the living room kitchen area. Then there's another 16 stairs to the bedrooms and the bathrooms, right? So back in the day, when I was a little bit more agile, the stairs weren't an issue. Last trip, though, my shoulders, my hips are aching. I'm like, listen, I'll spend the last night with you. So we went out to eat. I did my toiletries. I had to pee before we got back to her place. So I got there and I crawled up the 16 stairs. We made a little nest in the living room for me. So the next morning I woke up and I was cramping. All of a sudden I had popcorn cuts and I had sweat beading. I was like, oh my God, code brown, right? And I was panicking. I was like, oh, 16 stairs. 16 stairs. So I'm like looking for options, right? Looking for options, and I see the litter box, the cat box, right? And I see the cat looking at me and looking at the box. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, it's happening. Thank God I was wearing a nightgown. I just ripped my undies down and I exploded. Oh, it was like a brick of poo. Came out sideways. It just hit that cat litter dust. It hit that cat litter and it created a mushroom cloud of kitty litter dust. I didn't care, man. The sense of relief. I was just like, oh, thank God. And then I looked up, and as the kitty dust cleared, I saw my 12-year-old nephew walking down the stairs, trying to figure out what he is seeing before his very eyes. And then the smell hit him. He was like, oh, God, Auntie, why? Why? I'm like, 16 stairs, asshole! 16 stairs! White carpet! Did I mention that? White carpet! Did I make the right decision? Hell, I did! Woo! We haven't seen the cat since. It's fine. So I'm married, you guys. I got a husband. People, first question, obviously, is he a little person? I gotta tell you, he's the shortest guy I've ever dated. He's 5'7". Don't worry, he's still nuts over me. He's a good guy. He's my honey. But we met online 27 years ago, back in the dial-up days. That's how long ago, yeah. But we were only together for a year and a half. He's from North Carolina, born and raised. He was a single dad to a 2-year-old. I was from Canada. We met online. Tried to make it work for about a year and a half. I was going to give up everything to be a mom and a wife to these two incredible humans. But Kevin was like, no, you're phenomenal. You've got great things to do in the world. They kicked me to the curb. We went our separate ways. We each married and divorced other people. We had a 14-year break, and just at the beginning of November was our 11-year anniversary back together. Almost 3 years married. We're going to write a book about our love story. It's going to be called Her Beauty is Shin Deep. Poor Kev. He did tile work for many years, so his knees are shot. We went to a Waffle House one day running some errands, and I was hungry. I'm like, let's go to a Waffle House. And I lost weight, so I'm walking a lot better. So I'm not using my scooter. I got my cane. I get out of the car, walking through the parking lot, and I tripped and I fell. Happens a lot. Little people fall. We're good at it. We don't have far to go, right? But first thing, elbows up, protect the face, right? That's what I always do. Back in the day, when I was a little bit more agile, when I would fall, I would spring back up like a weeble wobble. Well, now I've had arthritis for 45 plus years. When I'm down for the count. I'm not hurt, I just can't get up, right? Best thing I can do is roll over on my back, right? So when I'm lying on my back, my legs are in the air, my arms are in the air, I look like a fainting goat. I'm not hurt, right? The thing is, my my husband had no idea that I had fallen, right? He was already up at the door of the Waffle House. So as he grabbed the door and he turned and he saw me, he's like, oh shit, dwarf down! Dwarf down! Dwarf down! So of course my husband's gonna come rescue me, right? So he steps off the curb, and when he stepped off the curb, his knee gave out. Then he collapsed. So there's the two of us rolling around the parking lot of the Waffle House. You can imagine people sitting in the window eating their smothered, covered in chunk, be like, what the hell's going on out there? Got dinner and a show. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad that I'm the age that I'm in my 50s, you know, and with my partner, when you're getting old, like anybody, people are going to become disabled. Some of us are born disabled, but in general, most people are going to become disabled, right? And it's very prideful, or I guess, you know, against your pride when you have to give up things that you took pride in doing, right? Like for me, now I'm at a point where I have to ask for help for certain things that I used to be able to do, like cut my toenails, right? My feet are right there. I used to be able to hug these little bad boys. Now, because of the arthritis, I can't get to them. By the way, you think my hands are feet? My hands are cute. My dwarf feet are adorable. Oh, yeah. Little sausage toes. They're like little elephant trunks, right? The thing is, with dwarf toenails, they don't grow like yours, right? Most people's toenails grow like a moon shape, right? Like a moon shape. Not dwarf toenails. They grow up from the sides, right? From the sides like a pitchfork, and they're sharp as shit. So if they get too long and I'm lying in bed and I try to roll over, I'm tearing the sheets to ribbons. Right? God forbid I walk on a carpet, I am face planting, right? So there gets to a point where I'm like, honey, time for the pedicure, I need a trim. And he's like, oh, my back, my knees, my shoulders, ooh, I'll get to it. Right? So about a week later, he wants to have the sex. And I'm like, yeah, what happened to the bad back, asshole? My husband and I are absolute opposites, right? I had no idea that whole phrase, opposites attract. I absolutely get that, because he completes everything about me, right? The only time we actually see eye to eye, though, is when we're laying down, right? Because I got the long body trunk, right? And we're eye to eye, but my feet are in a very good position. And I give a good foot job. At one point, though, I wrapped my little flipper foot around his penis and I held my big toenail right up against the shaft. I was like, okay, asshole, this is turning into a hostage situation. I better get the pedicure or the helmet's gonna get it. Oh, I got the pedicure. My husband and I have actually switched roles. He's been caretaking for me, you know, for most of our relationship. He takes such great care of me. He takes pride in that. But recently, I'm a hard-on man. He's actually torn both rotator cuffs, right, and his bad knee. So he's in bad shape. So this past summer, we actually got in a bit of a shitty situation where we became homeless. We had to live in a hotel. The good news is it was a wheelchair-accessible hotel room that we had, and I was very thankful because I knew that I would have to shower Kevin, and having a wheelchair-accessible shower room is beneficial, right? So I called up the front desk and I was like, hey, do you guys have one of those blowjob seats for the shower? And they're like, excuse me? I was like, oh, shower seat. I'm sorry. Not everybody calls it that, sorry. It's like, show housekeeping shows up, here's your blowjob seat. Little winky wink. Anyway, so Kevin's got his arm in this like contraption, right? So I stripped down, I'm on top of my scooter. The shower head was fixed on the wall, so he had it on his chest. So when I shower, I have a loofah on a stick, right? So I suds the crap out of the loofah and I get up in my bed, do what I need to do, right? So I'm thinking same rules apply, right? So I get up on my scooter, I loofah that shit up, and I start at the top. Armpits plunging away, and I work my way down, right? And at one point, eventually I gotta back the scooter up. Now I'm wet like a soapy seal, right? Slide off there, grab my little step stool, and I gotta sit between his legs now. I'm sitting on my step stool, and I gotta do mean potatoes, right? Mean potatoes. Mean potatoes. With me getting in there all under the fupa, in the creases. You know, gotta be thorough. But he's got the backside, right? I gotta do the backside, right? So, I mean, normally I would stand up and kind of give myself some room, but he's got bad knees and he's slippery and I'm not gonna let him, so I'm like, you gotta kind of like do a sneak peek, you know, just lean over a little bit, give me something, honey. I'll do my best. So I'm like, we're ready? And I'm start going to town. I'm trying to unclog a fucked up toilet. I'm thinking I'm doing a good job, right? And then I look up and there's tears rolling down his face. It's like, oh my God, you're like a German tank that's going into New Jersey and there hasn't been a war in years. It's fun getting old. Like I said, I'm just glad I am the age that I'm in because the cosmetic industry is making a killing off people's insecurity, right? Our young people, I said, they're looking for validation from strangers and all these filters on social media and stuff. It's crazy. The young people, teenagers, are getting Botox. Now, I know it's common, but Botox stands for botulism toxin. That's what people don't realize. It's actually listed under, like it's food poisoning. It's listed under anthrax as a biological weapon. But they found out if you inject this shit into your facial muscles, it paralyzes the nerve endings, but it gets rid of wrinkles. Yippee! Sounds like a great idea. What they don't tell you is you end up drooling for months. It's like, holy shit, look at me, I'm a sexy bitch. I have never looked younger. I'm having an orgasm. This is how I know that the world's gone so crazy, that people are so insecure, and you don't need to be. Everybody needs to own what they've got. But here's the point. There's some men, for whatever reason out there, that are so insecure, they decided to get the Botox injected into their nut sacks. It's called Scrotox. It's so popular, it's got a name, it's on a menu at a spa. So the whole idea is you inject the Botox into the testes area. It elongates them just a little bit, just enough to take out the wrinkles to make them more aesthetically pleasing. I'm here to tell you guys, on behalf of all women, nothing's gonna make those skin kiwis look any better! I've never once looked down at my husband's turtle wrinkled neck scrotum and was like, we need to stretch this shit out. It's your ball sack. You sit in it all day right there. It's right there by your asshole. It's not supposed to be pretty. Oh, it's gone mad. People are getting their asshole bleached. Oh my God, can you imagine? People have all these social phobia, but they'll bend over and get their coffee put Cloroxed. I'm telling you, if anybody ever goes down on you and comes back up saying your hoop is the wrong shade of burnt sienna, tell them you're not changing your ringtone for nobody. I didn't have a TV until recently, so I didn't realize how much advertising. I see it on social media and that kind of stuff all the time. But on the television, it's intense and all the meds and everything. So this ad pops up on the television. It's a man and a woman in a kitchen. They're standing at the counter. And on the counter is a beautiful tray. And on that tray has some carrots. Beautiful, straight out of the garden carrots stacked up in a pile. Except for the top carrot had a big old bend in it. I was like, oh, is this for a new grocer? No, turns out it's for a medication. Yeah. You know what for? A bent penis. There's a medication for a bent penis. When did this become a problem? All right, I'm not going to speak for the ladies of Sarasota, but I've seen some dicks in my day. bit of a bend in, it's not such a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? Kinda catches the sides a little bit, you know? You know what I'm saying, don't you, sister? There you go. Because it's a medication. We've all learned now, if you've been on this planet for more than a couple of decades, you know that there's a side effect to everything, right? Side effects to every medication. Now, they have to legally tell you what the side effects are in the advertisement. Do you know what the main side effect to the bent penis pill is? Penile fracture! Penile fracture! Are you willing to risk it, sir? You're 3.5 months into the bent penis pill, a month up before your dick snaps in half. Oh! Holy shit! Don't do it! Own it! Own it! Yeah, if your penis bends to the left, get yourself a vagina that bends to the left. There's a key for every lock. You guys have been fantastic. I am Tanyalee Davis. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night.
Tanyalee Davis, ladies and gentlemen.